Welcome back to part 4 of my garden makeover and garage extension. So if you've not watched the previous 3 parts where I've absolutely destroyed this garden and the garage extension has been built up, I'll just have a quick run through what's happened, and there's been a couple of little issues. So if you already know what's happened, just fast forward a few minutes. This trench has been dug from where the internet goes into the wall there. You can see the wires going in the fibre. Trench has been dug all the way down here, trying to just keep a swooping, like no right angles, because the cable can't kink, and it goes right through to there. And as usual, I've gone down a little bit too deep, but when you go too deep, you tend to hit pipes. Soil pipe, downstairs toilet, that's broken. I've also dug another trench out, that looks far too deep, but the pipe is actually there. You can just see it, and I can smell it as well. Not the nicest of smells, septic tanks. That goes all the way to the back of the garden room. We're probably going to have a toilet in there, so that'll sort that out. Nothing has been done with the patio since the last video. Nothing's been done with that. We've not even whacked it down. We've got the cold water feed there, and then there's going to be a hot water feed and a fibre cable going through the ducting. So if we do want internet in this garden room, we can have it as well. And this was dug out all the way down there. This was backfilled in yesterday. I've left this open because there's still a few bricks that I want to bury, and that was the original hole where I was putting all the bricks, because I could literally start my own builder's merchants with the amount of bricks that I found in this ground. And this has all been backfilled all the way up to there. I mean, you can see the bricks there, huge big blocks, and there's the other end of the ducting and the water supply, which is all going to get connected up by the plumber. Then there's yet another trench been dug here all the way to the house, because this doesn't have water yet. So it's going to be fed from the house in this trench, which has already been backfilled again. I'll run down this bit, and it goes into the house just there next to the gas pipe, which we didn't manage to go through, which was pretty good. Done literally all that myself, but that's why it looks like a mess. Rest of the bricks are stacked up there to finish off this, because we still have this much to go. A little bit of an issue last week, which wasn't on camera, which is pretty good. I was trying to get the digger through here when I was digging all this. I managed to come through here, this what felt like a really narrow gap, and I hit that. And no, I didn't hit that. I hit that one, and it tapped the wall there, and it's cracked this bit off. So it was about 4 or 5 courses, only this bit. So I took that off. Gary the builder, I don't know, he never said he was bothered, but I think he was a tiny bit pissed off that I'd done it, but I've got some conduit off Amazon, so the fibre can be fed down it to connect the garage to the internet. Or should I say, the internet to the garage. I'm only rough backfilling this trench as all this area is going to be landscape when the patio area is done. That's the ducting laid all the way to there. I'm going to stop there because this is still being worked on, and I have pulled the cable, well, the conduit tight, so the fibre cable should get through okay. This area is still being worked on. It's going to get re-leveled, so there's absolutely no point in trying to level this trench off at the moment. I might as well do it later. All the timber for the roof has arrived, quite a lot of timber. I forget how much it was, but it wasn't cheap. And then there's 2,000 slates. Now I feel like this is where I've been able to save quite a lot of money, because those slates there on the original garage roof and on the house are Welsh slates, which are £7.20 per slate. That one on the end is the cheaper slate, and they cost just over £2 per slate. So I've managed to save the best part of £10,000 just on the slate. All the steel is in. These end pieces have been cut on an angle and pieced in for strength. All looks really good. Padstone is in up there, if anybody's like into padstones and stuff like that. And the two catnip lintels, I think they're called, have been cemented into position, and that means the regular stone lintels that are going to go on the front, same as the house, they can be put there. So it should look good. The lintels are in, and they'll match the garage on the existing structure. And this garage extension is going exactly perfect to plan, perfect to budget. I wish I could say the same about the garden. I've done a lot of excavation, digging holes, dug a big hole here purely to get all of that rubble there into this hole. So that was the reason for that. Get rid of the bricks and the crappy rubble bits rather than paying £300 for a grab wagon, and I get some soil. So the garden room, what can I say apart from it's changed again? The idea of having an L-shaped is still there, but it's gone from an 8 by 8 to an 11 by 11, and then 4.5 there, 6.5 there, 6.5 there. And also the comment I got about the laurels being around the back of the garden room, just probably attacking the garden room when they get really, really big. I've decided to take them out. And put them down the bottom end of the garden to make that run a little bit thicker. Does already look much, well, thicker. So that's the last piece in, which completes the whole lot. I think it took about, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours in the end. And before I started this, you probably noticed there was a big load of this new hardcore Type 1 bass, sub-bass, and we had to just take a little bit from there. That you might be able to tell that's slightly different, but it was only for there. And if it would have been a little bit more accurate on the actual measuring out of the bass, wouldn't need all this, and tiny bit down there as well, so I probably could have got away with not laying as much of it. Oh, on the back there as well, went a bit too far digging out, but better to be a little bit too far than not enough. That is now 11 meters by 11 meters. This bit is 4.5 meters. There is 6.5, 6.5 back to there, and again 4.5. It looks pretty good. It's slightly over to the right. It's not perfectly in the middle, but from here it's good enough. So the soil pipe's been installed all the way through here. We're not going to go past this point. Was going to go all the way around just to give us the opportunity to put anything that requires a soil pipe anywhere on the back, but we decided it's going to come in here. And checked all the levels. It all seems level enough. That might need a tiny bit of knocking down, but the rest is all pretty level from edge to edge. Measured all this, bearing in mind this is the first time I've done this, so I'm just guessing what I need to do, and Gary the builder is away this weekend, so I've just been left to my own devices. But I've done all the measurements across and across there and across there, so as far as I'm aware, it is all the way it should be, and it's not on a wonky angle. Even though if you did look at it from above on the Google Maps, the perimeter hedge isn't 90 degrees, it's probably 110 maybe. So this bit here does run out slightly like that, but only a very small amount. You won't see it from the ground, only on an aerial view. And then this one goes out slightly, but there's no other way of doing it, because it was either going to be parallel to there, and that means that would be somewhere like that. So we've just done it the same on each side, and it just needs a couple more pegs in there just to stop this wobble when the, yes, I have got those on. I don't want to wreck my trainers because it's muddy. That'll stop the wobble when the concrete goes in. So it's still probably half an hour's worth of work left on it, but the majority of it is done. And the main thing is the slab height is going to be higher than the ground height, so we're not going to get any flooding. You can see it there. It's not the best. It needs straightening up, to be honest. It's a bit wonky, that, but it's not the end of the world. If you watch the first, maybe part 1 and part 2, when I landscaped, well, it wasn't landscaping, but when I dug all this up, this higher level was probably only to about there. Now it extends right out there, and this is, wow, I mean, look at that. That top plateau now is massive compared to what the original plan was, and it even comes over, nearly going over towards the patio. And then relocated the laurels, so they're all in, they look happy, green, growing. I wish I could say the same for the ones over there. They look a little bit miserable, but the sun does come up over there. They don't really get much sun, so maybe those ones might struggle. Accumulated a few more blocks from the edge of the driveway, so I'm going to try and do some sort of water feature there, maybe, with those blocks. And before I show you the roof structure, this here has been taken out, and there's a steel support behind there now that will allow us to be able to chop out that wall and put a sliding door in it. We just need a few more bricks and blocks to bring that up to the level. There's a pad stone, which I didn't know what that did until I just googled it, but it evenly distributes the weight across the steel coming down, so that's a regulation, building regs. So we've got the openings for the Velux windows. Even though they're not Velux windows, they're a cheaper version, but supposedly they're exactly the same, so I'm fine with that. They're actually in the garage now, ready to go in. That just needs a bit more timber there, and the same there. And then the valley needs to be formed, and some of this needs to be stripped off. And a quick view from inside. We're not going to have the windows at the back because I don't know why we're not having them at the back. We're just going to have them at the front. Obviously needs the floor finishing off with the underfloor heating, needs the electrics putting in, it needs boarding, plastering, the end bit there done with whatever, you know, the bar area, toilet and just a cupboard there for the boiler. And this bit here is just going to be open plan. So plenty more parts, I reckon, to this, just the whole lot. So if you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. And I appreciate everybody that has subscribed up to now and hit the like and comment as well. If you got any ideas for anything that I mention that you think might be a better idea that I'm doing, because it probably is a better idea, just give me a shout and I'll keep posting the parts. So I think it's part 5 next.